All right, joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, co-host on the U.S. Sailor Fifth Quarter Call-In Show, host on the Holton Ahlers Show, and former Pirate QB and chili cook-off judge, Holton Ahlers is here. Hey, Holton.
Dang, man. Got a ton of titles now. Let's go.
Adding to the resume. Holt, Pirates have won 2 in a row. What do you think about the line for ECU and Tulsa? 14.
What is Tulsa's ranked? I haven't looked. I usually look at the lines Wednesday afternoons, Thursday mornings. What is Tulsa ranked? I know they're not good.
Ranked.
Or not ranked, but record, sorry.
They are in the bottom 25 on a lot of polls.
Yeah, well.
They are, I think they have 3 wins this year.
Okay, so yeah.
They have 1 conference win.
I mean,
against UTSA.
UTSA somehow. I mean, they're
3
on
and
and
6
off.
says producer Danny Bill.
3 and 6. I mean, ECU's playing really, really, really good right now. It's not like it's the beginning of the year where they were on and off as well. Like ECU finally seems like they've hit their rhythm, especially offensively. JDB finally has his quarterback in place where he can go and take shots and not worry about throwing picks. So I would take him minus 13.5. I would definitely wouldn't take him 14 though.
That's a lot of points, and especially, I don't know, maybe I probably look way too much into this. I do this with Washington all the time, but like history and what's happened.
Tulsa's weird, man.
And it's different players, it's different coaches, all that, but still something about going there on a sleepy Thursday night.
It's weird.
Scares me a little bit.
Yeah, different time zone. I really enjoyed playing there. I feel like that was one of the more ready games we went into it, like mentally wise. We did get screwed though.
When y'all played them, they were ranked or
They're
either
pretty good,
close
yeah.
to being ranked.
They're
right?
pretty good. Yeah, they beat SMU, who was ranked the week before.
Yeah.
They had a really good quarterback, really good receiver, who actually ended up with me in Seattle. But yeah, I mean, they always. I'm completely honest. I haven't watched them this year. They always have a decent quarterback who can throw the ball, just because they're in the Oklahoma region with right near Texas, that like just like North Texas somehow is always going to end up with a transfer. I don't know if Tulsa has transfer now, but it seems like they always have these good guys who can sling it.
That's a good point, especially these days. You should expect them to have a pretty good Texas quarterback
100%.
at some point.
Yeah.
So looking forward to Pirates trying to win their second straight on Thursday night, their third straight overall, and we continue to have this talk every week about who's going to be the next head coach at East Carolina. Is he already in the building? So what do you think about what Blake Harrell's done so far?
I think it's great. I mean, look, part of this schedule and being in this conference is like, if you want to win a conference championship and want to win the games, you got to win the games that you're supposed to win. And he's winning them, not only winning them, but in dominant fashion. And I think that's something that Coach Houston maybe struggled with early in the year. Obviously, the Charlotte one's the glaring one where probably cost him his job. But yeah, I mean, if he keeps winning, and we talked about on the fifth quarter clip that like if you get the package deal of Harrell as the head coach, you keep Hauser and you keep JDB. Like at this point, I would say you do it, because when was the last time ECU had a young OC that was very creative and a young quarterback with multiple years left? It was Lincoln Riley and Shane Carter.
2013.
Yeah. And look how that ended up. So like if it continues on this trajectory, whether we lose another game or not. If the offense continues to look like this, and then the vibes on the sideline are this good, like I'm full support of keeping Coach Harrell.
Yeah, I mean, history repeats itself, and we've talked about Rio Johnson winning the job and Shane Carden eventually coming in game 2. Have you experienced that, Holton?
Have I experienced that?
Yeah. Well, Reed Herring started game 1, lost, and then you came in week 2. So it's similar, not the same, but similar. And again, we keep going back to how did Jake Garcia win that job? And you spoke a lot about that. You said that the decision was made before what?
The last scrimmage at least, because me and Caden went to the last scrimmage, and obviously knowing people in the program, we knew that Garcia was the guy, or was about to be named the guy literally after the scrimmage, and we're sitting up in the box watching it. And Garcia looked like he did this year. He'd throw a great pass. Now I think he threw 3 picks in that scrimmage, and Hauser's just balling up and down the field. And I remember looking at Kate and be like, "What? Like, why did they not wait till after the scrimmage to name the starter?" And hindsight's 2020 now. That's kind of how it ended up. So
here we are. And it's weird. I just haven't seen, and I don't go out to practice. I know he's out there, but like even during games, I don't see Jake Garcia. Like the camera doesn't pan to him or anything. So
yeah,
I hope he's doing all right. I mean, handling this situation.
That's always a tough position to be in, is like knowing that the fans want someone else, and then you finally do get benched. Like I remember, obviously multiple times in my career where I didn't play the best at times, and fans were calling for me to be benched, and like.
I received those calls.
Yeah. So it's not a great feeling. But at the same time, like, fans are fans for a reason. They might not always know the full picture. And in fact, they never know the full picture, to be completely honest. But, I mean, you can't lead the nation in picks also. I mean, eventually you got to make a change there, and they did. And, luckily it's paid off.
Yeah, and this offense is clicking. You talked to a couple of the weapons on the Holton Ahlers show, and great to see Winston Wright, Chase Sowell, and Anthony Smith. Man, he's been awesome.
He's electric too. Yeah.
You kind of called it from the beginning. You said, I think we really do have some playmakers now. Sowell's had some drops this year. And he'd probably tell you that, and they haven't been perfect, but we kind of have been waiting on a QB to let them make those plays and be themselves, and we're seeing that now big time. I mean, just great performances the last couple of weeks, and in the second half. I said it at the time, I'm not taking anything from this second half of the Army game, and that game's over. Whatever happened there in the second half doesn't matter. I did say I hope they gained some confidence, but outside of that, whatever. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe they did get something from that, because they have been rolling since that second half.
Yeah, and like even me and Caden, like I told Caden, and Caden was kind of like, it was against second stringers, though, third stringers, and I was like, that might have been the most important half of like ECU's football season, because it gave Hauser confidence. I mean, he went into an impossible situation versus Charlotte, did not very good, but it was an impossible situation. You're down 21 at halftime, like they expect you to come back. Like that's not a fair situation for him. Then the next week, you go play an undefeated triple option team, and it's like, that's not fair. And he made some good throws in that game that, there were some drops, there were some pass interferences that, would have, maybe changed the game a little bit, at least change his performance. And then, the second half, I felt like he really just started to get in rhythm, going through his reads and actually hitting them on time, which is obviously the huge thing as a quarterback, is hitting, there could be a guy open, but if you don't hit them on time, then they're not going to be open when the ball gets there. And he's doing a really good job of that right now. So, second half of the Army might have really opened up, might have cost Coach Houston his job those two games, but might have also seen the future of ECU football, hopefully, if we can keep him around.
Yeah, got to keep it rolling. Big favorites on the road at Tulsa coming up Thursday night. We'll be with you 3:30 on the Bud Light pregame tailgate. I got Pirates, Golden Hurricane. I got Commanders, Eagles Thursday, a big Thursday night.
Let's go.
And man, I don't like it. I don't like it. But hopefully it turns out good for me and Pirate fans. College football rankings out. I said yesterday or Monday or both days, in fact, get Carson Beck and Georgia out of my playoff.
Well, they listened.
Yeah, thank you. Gross. What? Yeah, man.
He is terrible. I mean, he was projected like number one overall in some mock boards.
Why?
And then it's like the Spencer Rattler falls, kind of what me and Kay were talking about the other day. It's like literally projected number one to just like falling.
Yeah. I was big on Rattler too. I saw that Netflix special.
QB1.
And I did say on the air, I was like, look, I feel uncomfortable talking junk about a 16, 17-year-old kid. It's gross.
It was terrible.
I'm not going to do it. I'll just say he's very talented. But you could tell he had some issues.
Yeah. Once he transferred to South Carolina, I met him at the Manning Passing Academy. And we're still in a group chat to this day with like guys that were there, and he's matured a lot. He's going to have a really good NFL career, honestly. Yeah. As a backup / like edge starter, which is probably not a better job in the world. So,
and not that I've scouted a lot of high school kids, but he's like one of the best I've ever seen. Just throwing the football. I was like, this guy's got it, and it just didn't pan out in college, really.
Yeah,
until the end.
And when he was in high school, I don't know the exact timeline here. He was like, kind of when Mahomes was going from college to pro, where like he was finally like set, because we'd never seen anyone that like Mahomes to the exact, and like everyone was like, he's the next Mahomes, like all that hype was just going into Spencer Rattler. So probably some of it was unfair, but still.
First round matchups. One thing I did ask for last week was, hey, give me an Indiana home game. How about Alabama at Indiana? That would be awesome.
That would be awesome,
because Bama, I don't know. Would Bama be favored just because of the national perception?
Probably. Indiana is literally probably the most impressive team in the country. What did they ended up being ranked? I was watching the Knicks games.
Indiana's at 7.
7.
Yeah.
If their name was Ohio State, they'd be 1 or 2.
Well, they can't be 1 or 2. unless they win their conference. The way it's set up.
I'm just saying ranked right now.
I'm just looking at the playoff. I don't know what the actual ranking is. They might be higher than that. Boise State at Ohio State. Two teams I said also I don't want in my playoff would be facing off Ole Miss and Penn State.
Yeah.
Specifically Penn State. And Notre Dame at Tennessee would be the matchup. Your buys would be Oregon, Texas, BYU at 3.
That is wild.
And Miami at 4, coming off a loss to Georgia Tech.
Did SMU lose? They had to have.
No, they won.
So they're undefeated and still not.
They're projecting Miami to win the ACC and keeping SMU out of the So, I mean, SMU or Notre Dame, who would you rather see in? SMU or Ole Miss? I don't know. That was a good win by Ole Miss. So.
No, I think Ole Miss deserves
Indiana ranked 5, by the way. So they're getting some props.
Notre Dame and Penn State are like the two teams where it's like, does anyone really want to see them in other than their fan base?
No, I'm good on it.
Like Notre Dame went through that stretch in the playoff where they would make it every year when there's 14 playoff and then just get killed in the semifinal. It's like, why can we not put someone else in here?
And before you started watching football, that'd be the same thing in the BCS, basically.
Yeah.
They just get blown out by somebody in the BCS. So history tends to repeat itself. Holton Ahlers joining us here. Danny Beal producing, and all of us were a part of a chili cook-off contest. And I've been a judge for 3 years. I brought Tony Collins. I thought about this today. I'm a little nervous because I brought Tony Collins. He has since moved to New Orleans. I brought Jason Nichols last year. He moved away to go to coach at Princeton. I brought Holton and Danny this year. Where are you guys moving to?
Well, hopefully a pro team signs us. That'd be a good thing, Clip. Maybe you brought us some good luck.
Holton to Seattle and then Danny to the Seattle Mariners. And
we could be roommates. Let's go.
Till we just become best friends. But that was fun, Holt. We got to eat some chili.
Yeah, I told the story off air to you guys, but Grace, my fiance, was like, yeah, I'm going to this chili eating contest. She's like, okay, cool. I guess I worded it wrong, or like I just did again. And I called her after, and she was like, wow, that was quick. And I was like, I mean, yeah. She was like, how much did you eat? I was like, just a spoonful of each. And she was like, oh, I thought it was an eat-off. Like, you ate as much chili as you could.
Grace went to the grocery store, got a bunch of Tums, and a bucket, and toilet paper.
Yeah.
No, we're good. We're good.
You know, it was good, though. It was a fun time. Thanks for the invite.
I always ask this around 4th of July, Holt, so I've probably asked you, but if you were in an eating contest, what food would you choose to participate in?
Probably pizza.
Okay.
I feel like I'm a big foodie. I love food. It's probably why I've gained a few pounds since playing, but yeah, pizza for sure. Hot dogs, I've seen too many eat-offs, and hot dogs just looks too nasty to me. Can't do it.
Danny, all fair. What would you choose?
I could house some chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets would be an easy one too. Yeah,
from a chicken fast food place around here,
like a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
that'd be a good one.
Are they sponsored?
No. But it could be if they want to do an eat-off. I'll do it.
Yeah, that would be probably my number one right there. And if I could dunk it in Polynesian, even better.
Yeah, but an eat-off, it's going to take up some belly space. You got to save it for. I know. You might add 5
I'm
extra
just there
nuggets.
for a good time, man. I'm not there to win. All right, let's see. Holt, anything else? I got Knicks Hurricanes cross sports parlay tonight.
Clip, you're like kind of becoming a Knicks fan. I feel like.
Well, the last 2 times I've taken them, they have lost for me. But they're a good team. Your passion has fired me up about them a little bit.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm a huge Brunson guy. I like Jalen Brunson. Not a huge Cat guy.
I'm starting to like him more. I didn't love the trade, but I'm starting to like him more just because he's got a little New York vibe to him that I didn't think he had at first. But, yeah, he does. And then, dude, I wouldn't – spreads in the NBA are so tough to bet. Yeah. I think I've not won a spread one, but I player props, and I think we've talked about this before, maybe literally every single week, but player props in the NBA are ones that you can – that I've won a lot of money on.
Have you looked at it tonight at all?
No, I haven't. Okay. I'll probably look at it after this, but I'll text you what I decide. But, dude, I've done this experiment, and I've done first basket, first score. God. No, listen, first score for the top 2 scores of each team, and I'll put $5 in it because I'm still kind of experimenting. But if any of them hit, you profit. Right. And in the NBA, just from, I mean, I watch every single Knicks game, like, for the last probably 10 years. The 2 superstars are going to be the ones that touch the ball first. They're going to get them shots early to get them going. And it's hit like 3 out of 4 times this week so far with other teams.
So for the Knicks, that would be Brunson and
Cat.
Okay. and then you take the top 2 for the others, and
yeah.
I mean, if you're but you do make a profit off of it.
Yeah, because like Cat hit the other night 2 games ago, and it was his odds were like plus 700.
Okay.
The lowest odds will be if it's anywhere over plus 400, you'll make money, and this is only if you bet like $5 or like with the top 4 people.
Yeah.
Like so, I bet 5 on each, which is a total of $20, and like I think the first when they played the Bucks, it was Giannis was like 5, but technically I'm betting 20, so it'd have been like 20 to win 22. So like that's the lowest.
Right.
But that's just pretty much getting your money back with a little bit more. Whereas like Cat scored first and it was like 20 to win like 55.
Yeah. So you turn a little profit there.
Yeah.
All right. I might look into that. I like that. All right. Good stuff. Holton, we'll talk to you. You want to hang out pregame tomorrow? What you doing tomorrow?
Yeah. I have no clue what I'm doing tomorrow, but
we'll give you a call.
Yeah.
And then we'll see you after the game on the U.S. Sailor 5th quarter call-in show as East Carolina looks to win their 3rd straight and go bowling. And for me, okay, fine. You go to a bowl for the players. That's huge. For the program, that's huge. You've talked about the history of East Carolina and the lack of bowl games, but when you've got that extra game, Holt, and you guys were able to celebrate it in a big way against Coastal in the bowl game, so that was awesome. But what does that mean to a player to reach that bowl and to have a chance to play postseason football?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot, especially like for the older guys. Like you don't want to be the class, especially since they've already been to 1 or 2, I guess technically. Like they don't want to be the class that like lets it slip 2 years in a row. So it definitely means a lot to them. The younger guys probably don't realize it. It's just like normal, I guess, for them. But I mean, if you were on the team last year, you went 2-10, and then you're going bowling like that. That's a big deal. Yeah. And one thing I will say, and I don't know how the transfer window, fully affects it, but having transfer portal guys on campus while you're still practicing, because you practice for the bowl games in December, like that's a big deal. And especially if Blake Harrell's the new head coach, like they can get a vibe for him already, because like some of these the portal guys can't visit campus until they enter the portal in December. So if they can go and see a practice, there's not many programs that you can go see a practice, only the bowl teams. So
good point. Yeah. All right, Holt, thank you, DB, and we will see you Thursday on the U.S. Sailor 5th quarter call-in show.
Yes, sir.